ॐ ॐ ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि नहि रक्षति ढुक्कृन्करणे मूढजहीहि धनागमतृष्णां कुरु सद्बुद्धिं मनसि वितृष्णां यल्लभसे निजकर्मोपातं वित्तं तेन विनोदय चित्तम् नारीस्तनभरनाभिदेशं दृष्ट्वा मागामोहावेशम् एतन्मां सवसादिविकारं मनसि विचिन्तय वारं वारम् नलिनीदलगतजलमतितरलं तद्वज्जीवितमतिशयचपलं विद्धि व्याध्यभिमानग्रस्तं लोकं शोकहतं च समस्तम् यावत् वित्तोपार्जनसक्तः तावन्निजपरिवारो रक्तः पश्चाज्जीवति जर्जरदेहे वार्तां कोऽपि न पृच्छति गेहे यावत् पवनो निवसति देहे तावत् पृच्छति कुशलं गेहे गतवति वायौ देहापाये भार्या बिभ्यति तस्मिन् काये बालस्तावत् क्रीडासक्तः तरुणस्तावत् तरुणीसक्तः वृद्धस्तावत् चिन्तासक्तः परसे ब्रह्मणि कोऽपि न सक्तः सत्स काते कान्ता कस्ते पुत्रः संसारोऽयमतीव विचित्रः कस्य तत्त्वं कः कुत आयातः तत्त्वं चिन्तय तदिह भ्रातः सत्सङ्गत्वे निस्सङ्गत्वं निस्सङ्गत्वे निर्मोहत्वं निर्मोहत्वे निश्चलतत्वं निश्चलतत्वे जीवन्मुक्तिः वयसि गते कः कामविकारः शुष्के नीरे कः कासारः क्षीणे वित्ते कः परिवारो ज्ञाते तत्त्वे कः संसारः. Dr. Mara, can you continue? I'm just getting a call. I'll join back.
मा गुरुधन जन यौवन गर्वं हरति निमेषात् काल सर्वं मायामयमितम् अखिलं पुत्वा ब्रह्मपदं त्वं प्रविश विदित्वा दिनयामिन्यो सायं प्रातः शिशिरवसन्तौ पुनरायातः कालक्रीडति गच्छेद्यायुः तदपि न मुच्यन्तया सवायुः मुच्यन्तया वायुः काते कान्त धनगत चिन्ता वातुलकिं तव नास्ति नियन्ता त्रिजगति सज्जन संगतिरेका भवति भावन भवति भवार्णवतरणी नौका भवति भवार्णवतरणी नौका. जतिलो मुण्डिलुञ्चित केशग. You want to do this?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
जटिलो मुण्डीलुञ्चितकेशः काषायाम्बरबहुकृतवेषः पश्यन्नपि च न पश्यति मूढो उदरनिमित्तं बहुकृतवेषः अग्रे अङ्गं गलितं फलितं मुण्डं दशनविहीनं जातं तुण्डं वृद्धो याति गृहीत्वा दण्डं तदपि न मुञ्चति आशापिण्डम् अग्रे वह्निः पृष्ठे भानुः रात्रौ चुबुकसमर्पितजानुः करतलभिक्षस्तरुतलवासः तदपि न मुञ्चति आशापाशः.
Yesterday we read this, I think.
We'll do 2 more shlokas. Yeah. Kurute
Sure.
Ganga Sagara Gamanam व्रतपरिपालनमधवादानं ज्ञानविहीनः सर्वमतेन मुक्तिं न भजति जन्मशतेन. सुरमन्दिरतरुमूलनिवासः शय्याभूतलमजिनं वासः सर्वपरिग्रहभोगत्यागः कस्य सुखं न करोति विरागः. Yeah. I think we'll stop here and you can continue from where we left. You may want to do the last shloka that we did. That
was a 16, right?
Yeah, 16.
I don't know if finished it? Yeah, we did finish it, I think. Astamalaka. We only read it one time, and then, yeah. Shall I read this from 16 then? Okay.
Yeah, we can read from 16 onwards. And
Okay.
then, since we chanted, you can read the Tatparya and continue. Or you can chant it
Okay.
once and then continue.
Sure, sure. Shall read this because yesterday we read the meaning already, I think. In front, the fire, at the back, the sun. Late at night, he sits with his knees held to his chin. He receives alms in his own scooped palm and lives under the shelter of some tree. And yet, the noose of desire spare him not. Seek Govind, seek Govind. In the previous stanza, a householder suffering the persecutions of his own desires was painted exhaustively, and it was held up to ridicule of all thinking persons. He is then the wandering monk in any way exempt from such subjective self persecutions. The tyrannies of desire are universal. It is a law of nature. As all scientific laws, it is also universal, and it respects no personality. The reactions of desires spare none. To to bring home this idea, the picture of a true ascetic is brought out here. One may be having none of the elaborate comforts of life, and having renounced everything, including even the even the minimum necessities of life, may come to live with no clothing, no shelter, and with scarcely any food. Even such an individual who, to fight the inclemencies of weather, to fight the inclemencies of weather, may resort to warming himself up on cloudy wintry days near the fire. And in the clear and bright daytime, he may bask himself in the warmth of the sun. When at night the fire goes out, he may bend himself upon himself, and with his chin held tight to his own knees, he may spend the rest of the time of the cold night. He may not keep to himself any possession, not even a begging bowl. He may accept what is given unto him in his own palm. For shelter, he may choose to be under any wayside tree. Thus, an individual may come to leave even the utter necessities of life and for all practical purposes may look a real man of renunciation. And yet, says the author of the verse, so the number one that quoted here, the next stanza says, fire in front and the sun at the back. Author of the verse, we find the chords. We find the chords of desire never leave him. Tadapi namunchati asha pasada. Tadapi namunchati. Okay, tadapi namunchati asha pasada. Chords of desire never leave him. While indicating thus a fact in life, all the pseudo sannyasins are contemptuously laughed at in this verse. Mere asceticism, however impressive it may be, will not be sufficient in itself. Renouncing the objects of the world is not real renunciation. Okay, so here is the fact. Mere asceticism, however impressive it may be, will not be sufficient in itself. Renouncing the objects of the world is not real renunciation. To give up our desires for them is the real sacrifice, And to dry up this desire, we must distill our personality of its contents of craving. No doubt, self denial at the level of the senses is the means. So, no doubt, self denial at the level of the senses is the means, but the goal is the total. The goal is to total elimination. Sorry, the total elimination of even the worst, very thirst to enjoy. Okay. Shankara in Atma Bodha very vividly describes the spiritual student should give up all his clinging attachment to the joys arising from the outer objects. So let me read this paragraph one more time. While indicating thus a fact in life, all the pseudo sannyasins are contemptuously laughed at in this verse. Mere asceticism, however impressive it may be, will not be sufficient in itself. Renouncing the objects of the world is not real renunciation. To give up our desires for them is the real sacrifice. And to dry up this desire, we must distill our personality of its contents of craving. So, not just leaving the objects alone is not renunciation. You have to get rid of the desires, and then and the craving for those objects also have to be cleared out of our mind. No doubt, self denial at the level of the senses is the means. Self denial at the level of the senses is the means, but the goal is the total elimination of even the very thirst to enjoy. So, not only giving up the senses, but also eliminating the thirst to enjoy that object. That's basically the craving. Shankara in Atma Bodha very vividly describes that spiritual student should give up all his clinging attachment to the joys arising from the outer objects. All his clinging attachment to the joys arising from the outer objects. So you have to detach yourself from the joys also, from the outer objects. Self denial, even when it is real, cannot produce true results. So, self denial, even when it is real, cannot produce true results unless it is accompanied by a high mental purity. So, this is the key point here. Like, unless it is accompanied by a high mental purity, the denial of that object. The stories in the Puranas of Rakshasas doing tapas are examples to illustrate this point. Out of all their tapas, the Rakshasas ultimately got only their self destruction brought upon themselves by their own indulgence. So, the Rakshasas, it brought their own self destruction, all this false renunciation or the act they made. Gitacharya calls such people who so ostensibly practice asceticism, asceticism, but are in fact mentally spending themselves in sensuous self dissipation as hypocrites. Physical self denial, it is now clear alone in itself, will not do. So, physical self denial, it is now clear alone in itself, will not do. Like in this verse, what they describe about this person. So, again, I'll read this. Gita Charya calls such people who so ostensibly practice asceticism but are in fact mentally spending themselves in sensuous self dissipation as hypocrites. So, here the mityacharaha sa uchyate. That Gita number, Gita 3rd chapter and 6th verse. Self-denial. Let's see what that one is. 1 second. That one is the Mithyacharya Chauchyate is in the 3rd chapter, 6th verse is Karmendriyani Samyaya ya aste manasa smaran indriyartan vimudatma mithyacharaha chauchyate. So that's what that was. Okay. So here, he who restrains the organs of action, but continues to brood in his mind over the objects of sensual desire enjoyed through them. Such a deluded person is called a hypocrite. Oh gosh. So, so here that's what uh, this this verse he explained here. Gita Acharya called such people who so ostensibly practice asceticism. That means they physically restrain that from organs of action, but mentally they are enjoying it. Sensuous self-dissipation as hypocrites. Physical self-denial, it is now clear, alone in itself will not do. So physical it's self-denial by itself will not do. It has to be eliminated from the mind. There must be elimination of desires from the mind, without which all asceticism is a mental self-persecution. So that is, if people do it physically, not mentally, then it is mental self-persecution. Through asceticism, the vitalities that would otherwise have been spent in indulgence can be conserved. So, through asceticism, the vitalities that would otherwise have been spent in indulgence can be conserved, but without redirecting it for creative self application. Self denial becomes a ruinous self suppression, reapplying the energy so discovered in ourselves as a result of our self denial in the path of positive development and spiritual unfoldment is called sublimation of our instincts. So, what is sublimation? Sublimation is here reapplying the energy so discovered in ourselves as a result of our self denial in the path of positive development and spiritual unfoldment. So that is called sublimation of our instincts. Suppression is suppressing our desires or self denial, like of the objects, or but then mentally we are not prepared to get rid of it, then that is unprofitable. Suppression is unprofitable. There is no profit greater than sublimation. So this stanza is attributed to Sri Hastamalaka. So this is the end of the verse number 16. Aghare vannihi priste banuhu ratrau chubu kasama pachita jana. Chubuka samarpita janagu karta bhiksha kartala bhiksha shatrutala vasaga tadapina munchatya asha pashaka. Okay. So please share your things. I think where he's nicely described about what ascetic in this person, like who is a sannyasi, even though he gave up everything with very very meager necessities, like even then to handle the cold, uh, he basks in the sun in the daytime, in the nighttime he's sitting in front of the fire and couching his head in between his legs after the fire goes out. And so he needs something for his keep himself warm. And then use what do you call that? He said they using his own palms for the food and living under the tree. But even if he doesn't have all of that, he says real renunciation, that gods of desire never leave him. So here, what is the fact that he wanted to talk about is that if you deny something physically, say, for example, if you don't want to eat the food, or if I say myself, if I don't want to drink coffee, but then I've been thinking about it. I didn't drink coffee physically, but then I've been thinking about it. Oh, what the aroma of the coffee is, how it tastes, and all that kind of in my mind. So I really didn't get rid of that completely in my head. So it is not true uh, giving up that stuff. That is how, if we're not getting up all these desires, we have to get rid of it from the mind also. So that is then that energy you apply to positive development and spiritual unfoldment. That is called the sublimation. So that is kind of uh, uh, profitable than just suppressing. Oh, I won't drink coffee, I won't drink sugar, I won't take this. But then you keep thinking about it all the time. That is not going to help us. That is what I got. Sounds really good in this, how nicely explained. Please
Uh,
share your thoughts.
also in during fasting, when we keep fasting, so the mind should not go towards the food that, or like people in other living in house, they are eating and you are also thinking, oh, I did not get this thing to eat today. Maybe it is of your choice that day, the food is of your choice,
Mm.
but still your senses are lingering there, that oh, today I missed my this, so I love
You're
this
trying to save it
this.
for yourself later when the
Yeah,
fast.
no. so, so your mind is on the food though you are fasting, so this is false
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
asceticism also, like you can say. And I think the
Yeah, that's a
sannyasis
good
who leave,
example about fasting, right? Yeah.
yeah, and the
It's
the
only.
sannyasi who leave the
Mm.
house in, as in because they don't have all the necessities in life, in that pressure, or maybe out of some pain or whatever reason, like,
They want to
and that
escape
is not,
whatever their
yeah,
situation in their
as
life.
a escapist
They take
rather.
sannyasi, then it
Yeah,
doesn't going to help them, right? They be
yeah,
thinking
they
about.
some China used
Mm,
to mention, no, that
mm.
they used to come back, um, though they were in sannyasi for many years, but they could not follow that path, because until unless you have that mental purity, you cannot continue on that path. So they leave that, and they come again back to the family life. So this is false asceticism.
Yeah. And a nice example that was given in this third chapter, um, that sloka, Karmendriyani samyaya ya aste aste panasa smaran indriyarthan vimidatma vimidatma mityacharak sauchyate. So That's what the exact thing is. He who
Yeah.
restrains the organs of action but continues to brood in his mind over the objects of sensual desire enjoyed through them. Such a deluded person is called hypocrite. So the hypocrite is something
Yeah, look,
nice.
people they
Mhm.
have developed those false images, no? That outwardly they show that they are not involved in anything, but internally their mind is going round
Yeah.
on those objects which he may be having fancy for. But outwardly he will depict a different position, his different image to the society.
So that's
These
a
are
word, right? Arjavam, that yesterday Dr. Pramar also mentioned. That your walk and your action and what else is this?
your thoughts,
Your
your
thought, your
yeah,
walk and your thinking and your thought and speech and the action all had to be same.
all same. Yeah.
Please share everybody, whatever you guys know. Can move to next one.
I just remembered when we were kids, when I started fasting when I was maybe in class 9. And that time we had so much of craving that at night, 12 o'clock, we used to eat, me and my sister. So I was just remembering. So that time we used to say, okay, now it is 12, it is next day, so let us eat. And yeah, slowly and slowly we
Yeah.
realized, and then we had some say over our senses, and then slowly and slowly we stopped, and that's
Yeah.
yeah.
See, one of my brother's friend, he is a Karwari, the coastal one. They always eat fish, non-vegetarian. Only fish. They even the Brahmins, they say it is vegetarian. So they don't want to eat on Saturday. They don't eat it. But a person, the friend, he used to sit up to 12 o'clock and eat after 12 o'clock the fish in the Saturday. Because
Oh my
Saturday he
God.
doesn't. I felt very, very strange,
So
After
the
12 o'clock,
desire
he will eat
doesn't
the
go
fish.
away from the mind, right? Yeah.
Ah,
Desire to eat
that is
the fish.
Mityachara
Yeah.
again.
Actually, hunger is such a strong, innate, like our this
You
hunger.
lose your
Yeah, if you are hungry, then you will lose your mind.
control.
Rather.
Yeah, control of the mind. Yeah.
So hunger is it is coming from so many janmas, that hunger is as soon as you are born, you are hungry, then you are like during whole day, if you are not having your food on time, then your mind will not work properly. You will be irritated. You will be so. This is the fasting helps us to keep, that control over. It helps to control your these the you can say what would you say, hunger, that controls, so that
You mean the satish? You
yeah,
mean
though it
you
is
can think properly? Yeah, it gives energy, and so that energy
It-
kind of.
So,
Is that what
it
you're
have
is
you
talking
a
seen?
tapas, no? It is a tapas, है ना?
Yeah.
It is a
You-
tapas. And why
See,
hunger gets converted into anger? Always, whenever you are hungry, that gets slowly and slowly into,
Get
anger.
irritated and all that because of
That
the
Because
lack
you
of
feel energyless, no? You feel energyless.
yeah.
You don't have the energy,
No.
so you get irritated
See,
when
I
you
have
are
seen
hungry.
for my breakfast after 9 o'clock, I cannot tolerate morning, okay? 9:30, suppose. But during breakfast, during the fasting, I make a resolve that I will not eat today. I don't get hungry also. That mind has to be that way.
It is just the control of the mind.
Control of the mind. I felt
Yeah.
that way. See, the other days, I cannot even stay up from 9:15 to 9:30. Oh, my pangs will be there. But on that day, if I want to fast and I make a resolve that I am not eating, mind doesn't go there at all. Hunger also will not come. I have experienced that.
The mind give you if you give your instructions to the mind, the intellect gives the instruction to the mind, then mind will see it that you follow that, and it happens many a times when you are involved in some activity. Like if I say about marathon, the marathon is not run with the physical strength, it is run with the strong mind. Yeah.
Yes.
So it is all the strength of the mind which helps you. Like people run 100 kilometers at a stretch. So it is all that which is the mind is forcing you to do. So if you
So it's a master of the
instruct your
senses.
mind, that you don't have to eat today, then you will not feel hungry. Like in that
It controls the senses. Yeah.
Karwa Chauth, Vrat, people do not eat up to night, like until the moon comes.
12 o'clock.
Yeah. So that is what is the instructions given by the mind, by the intellect to the mind, that today I have a fast and I will not have water and food. So your body adapts up easily. Like it is not that you have to force something. So I think it's all the game of the mind only, that you have to. So this fasting helps you to. This is a type of training the mind, rather.
Yeah. Next time we'll think about it like no thinking in the mind. Fasting, that's it. Okay. Shall we go on to the next sloka? Do you want to read this, Dr. Savita ji, and sloka, and also the pada artha?
Okay. Kurute Ganga Sagar Gamanam Vrata Paripalan Matvadanam Jnana Vihina Sarvamatena Muktina Bhajati Janamashatena Bhaj Govindam Govindam Bhaj Mudamate. Kurute, go to pilgrimage. Ganga Sagar Gamanam, to where the Ganga meets the ocean. Vrata Paripalanam, observes the vows. Athva, or Danam Kurute, means distributes gifts away. Gyan Vihinaha, devoid of experience of truth. Sarvamatena, according to all school of thought. Muktim, release. Not. Bhajati, gains. Janmashatena, even in 100 lives. Kurute Ganga Sagar Gamanam, Vrata Paripalanam, Athva Danam Gyan Vihinah Sarvamatena Muktim na Bhajati Janma Shatena. Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam.
One may in pilgrimage go to where Ganges meet the ocean, called the Ganga Sagar, or observe vows, or distribute gifts away in charity. If he is devoid of first-hand experience of truth, jnanam, according to all schools of thought, he gains no release, even in 100 lives. One may in pilgrimage, let me read this again. One may in pilgrimage go to where Ganges meet the ocean, called the Ganga Sagar, or observe vows, or distribute gifts away in charity. If he is devoid of first-hand experience of truth, jnanam, According to all schools of thought, he gains no release even in 100 lives. Seek Govind, seek Govind. When Hastamalaka has thus mentioned and criticized the futility of unintelligent tapas by recluses, Sri Subodha contributes in this stanza an extension of the very same idea as contained in the previous stanza. What about tapas in the life of devoted householders? Again, what about tapas in the life of devoted householders? Seekers of the true end of religion do go for pilgrimages. So, seekers of the true end of religion do go for pilgrimages, observe vows, and offer charities. All of them are wonderful exercises for developing healthy attitudes. Healthy attitudes to life in helping in one onto the path of the study. So in helping one on to the path of the study and contemplation. But ordinarily, householders confuse these means as an end in themselves. This erroneous concept is being laughed at by the poet. So that is, the poet is Sri Subodha. So he is the poet. So what happens here? But ordinarily, the householders confuse this means as an end in themselves. This erroneous concept is being laughed at by the poet. Without knowledge of infinite reality, liberation from sense of finitude is impossible. The number 2 is Bodho Anya Sadhane Byogi Sakshat Mokshaika Sadhanam Pakshaya Vahnivat Jnanam Vina Mokshana Sityati. That's from the Atma Bodh. Wow. They're getting everything in this Bhajagovindam with all the Upanishads, Atma Bodh, everything. Without the knowledge of infinite reality, liberation from our sense of finitude is impossible. In the Upanishads, also we find often this idea that freedom from the thraldom of life can never be gained unless one comes to experience the infinite ones of life. The number 3 is Jnane Naivahi Kaivalyam. Jnane Naivahi Kaivalyam. That one shows this. In the Upanishads, also, we'll read this again. In the Upanishads, also we find often this idea that freedom from the thraldom of life can never be gained unless one comes to experience in the infinite ones of life.
Oneness of life.
Sorry, oneness of life. Infinite oneness of life. Here, walking the path of the ancient teachers, Sri Subodha says that it is the anonymous conclusion arrived at by all schools of thought in Vedanta that liberation from the sorrows of life cannot be gained without the actual first-hand experience of the one infinitude. So, we have to experience the infinitude, then you get the liberation from the sorrows. The Acharya is sure, and he asserts with emphasis that by mere practice of these noble exercises, one cannot reach one's destination even in hundreds of lives. Janma Shatana.
Shatena.
Shatena, okay. Janma Shatena. So here the way it was explained, right? I'll read this one paragraph again. So just going to Ganga Sagar, doing all those rituals is not going to help. It's not the end of it. You got to really realize yourself. That's the bottom line. So here is let me read this one paragraph again. Without the knowledge of the infinite reality, liberation from our sense of finitude is impossible. In the Upanishads, also, we find often this idea that freedom from the thraldom of life can never be gained unless one comes to experience the infinite oneness of life. Here, walking the path of the ancient teachers, Sri Subodha says that it is the unanimous conclusion arrived at by all schools of thought in Vedanta that liberation from sorrows of life cannot be gained without the actual first-hand experience of the one infinitude. The Acharya is sure, and he asserts with emphasis, that by mere practice of these noble exercises, one cannot reach one's destination, even in hundreds of lives. Janma Shatena. In the text, the phrase Ganga Sagar can mean the place where Ganges meets the Bay of Bengal, called in India as Ganga Sagar. It can also mean Ganga and Sagar, meaning pilgrimages to Kashi, where Ganga flows, and to Rameshwar, where bath in the Sagar. Setu is the most important item. Pilgrimages to Kashi and Rameshwar will bring a lot of vivid experiences for a person who is doing it with faith, dedication, devotion, and sincerity, especially when it is undertaken on foot, as they used to do in the past. I would love to do that. Oh, wow. This is very nice, right? They had explained here. The text phrase, sorry, I'll read this paragraph one more time. The text phrase Ganga Sagar can mean the place where Ganges meets the Bay of Bengal, called in India as Ganga Sagar. It can also mean Ganga and Sagar, meaning pilgrimages to Kashi, where Ganga flows, and to Rameshwar, where bath in the Sagar. Setu is the most important item. Pilgrimages to Kashi and Rameshwar will bring a lot of vivid experiences for a person who is doing it with faith, dedication, devotion, and sincerity, especially when it is undertaken on foot, as they used to do in the past. Educating the intellect to hold higher ideals, training the mind to obey the will, sharpening one's will itself, and training it to be easily wielded by oneself, or the achievements gained by the practice of vows. So, what are things happening here? Practice of vows. Educating the intellect, that's our buddhi, to hold higher ideals. So, educating the intellect to hold higher ideals and training the mind to obey the will and sharpening one's will itself and training it to be easily wielded by oneself, are the achievements gained by the practice of vows through the firm determination. So now we are putting all to work, like buddhi, intellect, and the mind, and then the training, the will itself, sharpening the will itself. All of that together, we gain this achievement, which achieve this thing. Through the form determination, the individual will, when one orders that one's sense organs will not have. Again, through the firm determination, the individual will, when one orders that one's sense organs will not have, for a fixed period of time some of the things which they always like the most. There we have all the contents of a vow. And when it is undertaken in a spirit of dedication unto the Lord, and the entire mind is turned towards the Lord, it becomes very efficient psychological training in recasting the mind, and it becomes a religious vow. Oh, oh sorry, where did it go? So we
So
read this
this is exactly what a fast is. This how it can be
fasting.
described. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
religious
So
vow.
we are educating the intellect to hold higher ideals, training the mind to obey the will, sharpening one's will itself, and training it to be easily wielded by oneself, or the achievements gained by the practice of vows. Through firm determination, the individual will, when one orders that one's sense organs will not have, one orders that one sense organ will not have for a fixed period of time some of the things which they always liked the most. Okay, some of the things which they always liked the most. There we have all the contents of a vow.
What
And
we
when
talked,
it,
we
yeah,
just talked that fasting. If you
exactly,
have that
and
mind, you will not get the
mindset.
craving.
Exactly, like you said, you took the vow, right? I'm going to be fasting tomorrow. I'm not going to eat anything. So you made that in resolve in your mind. Then you're for that fixed period of time, you're not going to eat it, or it won't even come to your head. And when it is undertaken in a spirit of dedication, so and when it is undertaken in a spirit of dedication unto the Lord, especially say for Ekadashi, you're going to do this spirit of dedication unto the Lord, and the entire mind is turned towards the Lord, it becomes a very efficient psychological training in recasting the mind, and it becomes a religious vow. So, so we are kind of ordering the sense organs to for fixed period of time. You shut it off, and then some of the things that which we always like the most, we are shutting it off from the senses, and then you kind of you dedicate that energy toward the Lord, and the entire mind turned towards the Lord, and becomes it's very big, very efficient psychological training in recasting the mind, and it becomes a religious vow. However beautifully and elaborately one may cook his food, until that food becomes one with himself, the sorrows of hunger cannot end. The sorrows of hunger cannot end. Pilgrimages, vows, and charity are all exercises to prepare the seeker's mind for the great path of meditation. Through the meditation, until the highest is actually apprehended, jnanam, uh, total freedom, mukti, from the natural human weaknesses can never be gained, not even in 100 lives. Janma Satena. Is it 100 is Satena?
Yeah, shatena.
Satena, okay.
Shatena. Shati
The
is
old,
100.
okay. The old teachers in Vedanta used to tell us, okay, the old teachers in Vedanta used to tell us the snake on the rope seen by your foolishness cannot disappear by Garuda mantra. Gosh. Nor can they used to add the ghost you have projected on the post run away by ringing the bell. Waking up alone is the remedy for all the sorrows of the dream. Wake up, oh, limited ego, and come to apprehend your own infinite nature, wherein there is neither matter nor spirit, that thou art. This stanza is believed to have been written by Sri Subodha. I'm going to read this last two paragraphs one more time. However beautifully and elaborately one may cook his food, until the food becomes one with himself, the sorrows of hunger cannot end. Pilgrimages, vow, and charity. The charity, what is what? Sharing intelligently what you have with others around you who are in need of it is charity. So sharing intelligently what you have with others around you who are in need of it is charity. Tattvamasi, one of the Mahavakyas found in Chandogya Upanishad, number 2. Yeah, I think here we read that number 2. It's Tattvamasi. Okay. So here, I was reading here again. Pilgrimages, vows, and charity. So that's what those 3 things. Pilgrimages, vows, and charity are all exercises to prepare the seeker's mind for the great path of meditation. Through meditation, until the highest is actually apprehended, total freedom from the natural human weaknesses can never be gained. So until we get through the meditation, until the highest is actually apprehended, the knowledge is, realized, the freedom from the mukti cannot never be gained, even in 100 life. Jnana Shatena. Sorry, Janma Shatena. Everything sounds look like Jnana to me. Janma Shatena. The old teachers in Vedanta used to tell us the snake on the rope seen by your foolishness cannot disappear by Garuda mantra, nor can they use to add the ghost you have projected on the post run away by ringing the bell. So, it's not understanding this basically ignorance, right? Waking up alone is the remedy for all the sorrows of the dream. Waking up alone is the remedy for all the sorrows of the dream. Yeah, when you wake up from the dream, you get out of the sorrows in the dream. Wake up, oh limited ego, and come to apprehend your own infinite nature. So we have to get rid of the ego and come to apprehend your own infinite nature, wherein there neither matter nor spirit. So nothing there, and that thou art. This stanza is believed to have written by Sri Subodha. Very nice, isn't it? So what time is it now? Almost 8. So anything you want me to repeat before we move on to 18, or should we do Manana on this one?
I think we can do Manana a bit on this.
Okay. So somebody who wants
things are
to
mentioned, no? But one,
milk. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
2
Dr.
things
Savita.
mentioned in this stanza verse. One is that without having any knowledge of the reality or the infinite consciousness, one is just visiting that pilgrimages. That people say that I'll visit all the lingas, all the shivlings. So they just keep a number in mind and they keep on visiting one after the other, thinking that we have now completed the 12 Jyotirling. So they satisfy their ego basically. But it is, as it is said in this stanza, that it will lead them in nowhere. Though they can take 100 of janmas, they will not gain anything out of that until unless they have gone for the knowledge of the reality of the or the Vedanta Shastra. Until then, they will not be liberated. And the second was that of the religious vow, which a person needs to take whenever, whatever, like that. It is a training of oneself, of one's mind, with that firm determination, and so that his sense organs do not go haywire. Like he controls his, he not control, rather he tames his sense organ rather, and by taming them only he will be in undertaking that step of taming his sense organs, that he will be able to he'll be able to walk on this path, and he will be like he will be turning towards himself more. Towards when we do a fast, we are more we are more in going inwards, so that it will help him on this in this journey, and he will be if that is called the psychological training of the mind, the religious vow. Yeah, anyone can elaborate further.
Jai Gurudev, here I wanted to mention one thing. Of course, going to the pilgrimage and doing all big rituals, and that sometimes may inflate the ego. Oh, I am doing so much, and so much charity, so much dharma, and you get popularity also in and around your society. So that can become in a way traps also, and illusory satisfaction that I am following dharma, I am doing so much. At the same time, when we are on the path, we are doing all our sadhanas, and our focus is towards the liberation or for ultimate knowledge, wisdom. Still, because we are living in this world, with more awareness and sanctity, again, tapa, dan, yajna, as Krishna has mentioned it in Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagwan, that not tajit, all these tapadhan, yajna, karma, tapasya, yajna, and dan should never be given up. So we also should, with more awareness, because anyway we are earning the money, we are running the house, we are doing all these things, and plus our sadhana seva satsang. So we need to keep this also in mind, that we need to continue doing yajna, tapa, dan, dharma, and everything with more awareness that where it is going, and I think that supplements very much our sadhana and our progress on this path also. Can somebody throw more light? Because then we
Very
think that
nice.
okay, we are doing all these things, so I don't need to go to temple, I don't need to do any dan dharma, I don't. ऐसा नहीं है. So keep a balance, and with more awareness we need to do these things.
No,
See,
yes,
people
I
may
agree
go
with Madhuri ji.
just, yeah, we may
I
just
agree
go
with
and
you because
complete the ritual, but with more awareness, we know that these 12 Jyotirlingas are very special. They have their own very different power and energy, and they are not just ordinary Jyotirlingas. But with this awareness, when we visit there with our sadhana background and everything, we may get a very different kind of energy, very different kind of elevated this thing. And we will not get trapped into tick marking that I completed this, I completed that. There is a distinctly different approach towards this at
This
least.
is the essence of this stanza, no? That what this Shri Subodha wants to convey, that visiting pilgrimages is not enough if until unless you are in this knowledge, you have that awareness, you are into this Vedanta Shastra reading and practicing and all these ritual following. Until unless that wholesome is not there with you, your visit is incomplete. And it is
that
we ourselves
yeah.
also have seen, no, that in our initial days we used to visit, but that feeling which we had that time and now when we visit, there is such a difference in them. And like
Yes,
one person was talking about the Kechi Dham, and he was saying, "What is it there? No, there is nothing there." So, but the person who has read this knowledge, who know what is this consciousness, what is Atma, what is this Tattva Bodha, his perception level at that place would be different from that from a common man who doesn't have this knowledge. So all that difference is that of the knowledge. So this
Sureshji,
is
you want to say
yeah,
something?
yeah.
He was gonna. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
No,
We
I
have
agree
2-3
with
minutes more.
Madhuriji.
Mm.
I agree with Madhuriji because this stanza, when we read,
Mm.
someone may feel that we need not have to do this all pilgrimage and all that this, you know. Okay, jnana is most important, but this pilgrimage, this tapas, uh, dana, and this one, no, and as told in
Yeah,
Gita, should
certainly.
not be.
Yeah, yeah. It's not
They
like it is.
uh,
It's setting you right in the path. It's
that's right.
not that you don't have to do it.
Do
You
that.
do it, but don't think that is the end of it, right?
End up.
So
That
you
is.
you don't think of going to the pilgrimage and taking the vows. Oh, we are
Yeah, yeah,
done.
yeah.
We'll go to moksha.
No,
That's not.
without having jnana,
Yeah,
we leave this. We leave
but
this. Oh,
you still will do it, but the pilgrimage, vow, charity, everything is actually the exercise to prepare your mind in the great path of meditation. Through that meditation you realize the jnana, and then you achieve, you relax from that.
to
That's what it been explained.
antaranga shuddhi, to make
Yeah,
antaranga shuddhi, all this
right.
is needed.
Exactly, these two examples he had given, right? Unless you attain that knowledge, like the snake on the rope, you're not going to see, rope is rope, right? But you're not going to get rid of that snake by doing garda mantra. So in the same way that you are seeing the ghost on the poster, by ringing the bell, you're not going to get rid of the ghost. That ignorance is going to still be there if we do all those things, but we have to realize the knowledge point also, add to it. But these things help you set your mind. That's what it helps here. So again, this one paragraph, if you want, I'll read it again. See,
Didi,
you guys.
just I wanted to ask one more thing. Does this
Mm.
apply to Guru Sanidhya also? Like we are always, we love to, go visit Gurudev
See,
wherever,
see
whenever,
in,
wherever he
in
comes.
Guru Sanidhya, we get jnana.
So that
Yeah,
we should.
That is needed. No, that is not
that too.
pilgrimage.
Yeah,
It is a
like
jnana.
we had to go to Guru Sanidhya as much
Yeah,
as
to
possible.
get this jnana.
But with fine tuning, we can just go and run behind his body, but at the same time be attuned to what sukshma this things is coming from him. Definitely, every time when we go and meet Gurudev, if we are keeping our subtler this thing open, definitely some or the other message we will get from him, which is a very
all
much
these things
uplifting.
you're doing it, but this one paragraph I read is very clearly says, educating the intellect to hold higher ideals, training the mind to obey the will, sharpening one's will itself, and training it to be easily wielded by oneself, or the achievements gained by the practice of the vows. So all these vows that we make, okay, oh, I'll go to this temple, Tirupati, if I have this or what that, something that you do. So you complete that, when by going to the temple, the kshetra, that you get the blessing and all that, and you come, you feel your mind is feeling kind of fulfilled that this whatever that vow we have taken for that purpose. Same thing going to Kashi or Rameshwar and things like that, and going to the Ganga Sagar. That one thing everybody wants to do once in their lifetime at least, right? So that kind of gives you the firm determination, and then the individual. So whatever it is, we have to prepare our mind, the andakarana suddhi, by doing all these things. That's the bottom line. Then once our mind is purified, that we are detached from all these things, objects. Hopefully, this jnana sets into our life, so that will ultimately relieve us from this.
My experience has been completely opposite to all this. I was in the corporate world and I belong to a different religion. I had none of this knowledge with me. And in our sales line, we used to drink, we used to eat non-veg food, etc. And then it was just like the effect that it had, alcohol, non-veg food on my body and also on my mind. I used to get angry very fast, etc. That set me thinking as to what am I becoming? Am I becoming an animal or what? And after that, I just developed this strong resolve that I don't like what I'm becoming, and therefore I will give it up. So one day, just within the next few days, there was a party at my place. And when I used to come back from Goa, I used to bring a whole crate of whiskey. I used to bring 6 bottles of rum. I used to bring 7 liters of wine and all that in a separate bag because Goa did not have sales tax. So booze was cheaper. I used to bring it back. All those bottles in that party I distributed to all my sales staff, my family, friends, etc. And I said, from today onwards, I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to have non-veg food. Even my wife thought that I was probably drunk when I was saying this and that I would repent the next day. But no, from that point, I don't know, the straining of the mind that was written here, there was nothing. I had never trained my mind, nothing. I just gave it up. Next day, she had not cooked non-veg, not cooked veg food for me. I said, fine, I won't eat. And then she realized that she had to start making veg food at home. And from that day onwards, I never looked back. I never touched. And within 3, 4 days only, I had to go to a party with the family. And there was Johnny Walker Black Label being served, which is considered to be a very premium whiskey. And there was no this thing that I've given it up, I've given it up. There was no yearning for it or anything. It just happened. And believe me, at that time, I had none of this knowledge with me. I had never been to temples, etc. Ours are fire temples which we go to. That I had gone to, but not from the view of being going on a pilgrimage or something like that. So I don't know, but that just, and then probably I don't know, I gave up all this, and then after that, maybe after a year or so, art of living happened to me. Then I probably came on the path, but there was no, the willpower was so strong. I just gave it up and gave it up. That's all. There was
Yeah,
no look.
exactly. So that's what it's
that was
Persiji, you
what
have
happened,
your
No,
willpower
That
you,
was
is
the
what.
grace of God, I think, that
Yeah.
happened. That was the grace
no,
of God.
And my
and
realization, what am I doing to my body and mind? What am I becoming?
Yeah, you
And-
realize that that is bad for you, right? You didn't
yeah,
like the way how you felt and getting angry so quickly and all that. And
yes.
so you said, this is not good for me. So once you realize that is another truth, right? Like and
my
then
ma-
you made a strong resolve, and that the willpower is very strong, and that kind of made your control your senses, right, to not go for those things. So that I mean, in the way it's elaborate in this paragraph, but there are people who does, is even my husband is like that. But in my case, one day you're not that strong sometimes, so wavering there, it doesn't apply to everybody, but people like wavering mind, the mind is wavering, that's what it is, whether do it or not do it, like that. So I do agree with you, Percy ji, that's nice that you had when you knew it and you quit, that's it.
Similar thing happened to me also. Like Percy ji, I was not not in art of living. I don't know. One fine morning, I thought I should leave it, everything. I think it was 1998, August 20, I remember it. I am also a non-vegetarian and I was not drinking at all. That is different thing. And I told I will not drink from today tea, coffee, milk, any fizzy, cool drinks, and non-vegetarian. That's it. Since then, I have not at all seen back. Many temptation happened, but I stick to this one. And that cleansed the mind slowly, And then I joined 2002, I joined Art of Living. Then everything fell in line. So whether you religiously do it or you do it by your own mind, it cleanses your antakarana shuddhi, happens automatic.
And this is also true that different instructions are there for different levels of sadhaka. So when one instruction is very much apt for one sadhak, it may not exactly be the same for the another sadhak. And even Gurudev says, no, oh, last time I said that, but something very different he will be saying at other times. Because for that crowd at that moment, that instruction is needed. So all is right at different timings. But at the same time, throughout, yajna, dana, tapa should never be tyajit. That is the instruction of Bhagavan Krishna. So yajna, dana, tapa at every stage of our evolution, whether we are on the path or not, yajna, dana and tapas. That is the underlying thing by Bhagavan Krishna. So I think this we should understand in the proper perspective. But of course, without wisdom and this knowledge of Brahman, all these practices will also may lead us to some kind of egotism or other negative aspects also. Jai Gurudev.
It said ना नहीं ज्ञानेन पवित्रम अग्नि, जैसे अग्नि सबको पवित्र कर देता है, वैसे ज्ञान के सिवा और कुछ चीज पवित्र नहीं कर सकती है। लेकिन ज्ञान के साथ सभी जो अपने नित्य कर्म और कर्म ड्यूटीज है, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज है, वो हमें करनी ही है।
Somehow I'm not able to share this Bhajagovindam. I'm not sure why it's not coming today.
Then you can play Maya Panchakam or something if it is not coming.
Yeah, we did only 2 verses today, right? 16 we repeated and
because it's
17.
8:20 already, so I thought, is Dr. Brahmara there? Sorry, Dr. Brahmara, you will be able to share this.
It's come now, Bhajagovindam, Dr. Mara.
Yeah, okay. So, okay. Out. Can you hear it?
Whole day. No, we are not.
We can't
Whole
hear.
day this is ringing in the mind. It is so beautiful. Even in the middle of the night, I am saying Bhajagovindam in my mind.
Okay. Can you hear the sound, right?
No, we can't hear. Sound is not there.
You cannot hear it, right?
No, we
guys.
can't hear. Yeah.
Okay, let's just do the sloka then. I'm sorry. That Brahmara is not there. You want to read anything from there? 1 second.
We read these two verses, 16, 17 only? Or you want to go ahead?
You guys can go on Manana, that whatever you want to discuss, go ahead. I'll try to see I can do it from the phone.
I want to share one experience. Like it's been, I think, 2 years back, in one of the Art of Living course, I joined that. I joined for Ekadashi group, but after Ekadashi, after Ekadashi group, like there was Navratra coming, so they were planning to do Navratra fasting whole 9 days. And as I have a Vat Pitta type of body, so I have a very strong hunger. Like I'm not able to control myself for a very long period of time, and I start having headaches if I keep remain empty stomach. So that was a challenge for me, and I don't know how I kept those fasts for 9 days on water, and just water and lemon and honey. Those were the things for 9 days, and still to my surprise, now I feel how could I keep them? But I don't know from where that energy came, that it was because of that instructions that you don't have to eat or drink anything, only water and lemon and honey. So though I lost 2-3 kg weight, but till last I could take the fast, to my own surprise. But it was a challenge, and I was so happy that I could complete it and did not leave in midway. And I did not have headaches also. I don't know how, but it went very smoothly. But that was the last, and I did not attempt further for 9 days fasting with water. I keep only with them was fruits and curd, etc. But yeah, that was a religious vow which I didn't want to live in between.
Can you hear it now? I don't know
No.
why it's not happening.
No, we
my-
can't hear.
The Zoom thing is not showing me.
The audio, like you shared day before also, yesterday also. You can recite these two verses, Dr. Mara, which we did today, I think, and it's already 9 o'clock, no?
Please recite, no?
Yeah. Shall I recite?
Yeah, please go ahead.
This is 16 verse, 16 and 17 today we did. Agre bahani prashte bhanu ratrau chupka samarpit janu kartal bhikshastarutal vasa sattadapi namuchyat asha pasha bhaj govindam govindam bhaj mudmate कुरुते गंगा सागर गमनम व्रत परिपालन मतवादानम ज्ञान विहीन सर्वमतेन मुक्तिम न भजति जन्मशतेन भज गोविंदम गोविंदम भज मूढ़मते. You can say the Shanti part, Dr. Mara or Madhuri ji.
Yeah. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Connected. Sorry. Are you done with this look?
Yeah, I just recited the two shlokas, 16, 17.
Hello?
Can you hear Dr. Mara?
Okay. Should we? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hello?
Yes, Dr. Mara? Yes.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So should we do the Santi Pata? It's about almost time,
Yeah,
right?
Madhuri did this. You can say again, Dr. Mara. Yeah, you can close.
Okay. So you've done the Shanti
Yeah,
Pata
we
also?
did the Shanti part also. Dr. Madhuri ji
Okay.
did it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Jai Gurudev. Thank you.
Jai Gurudev.
Okay.